What's up everybody, Watt007 here, and welcome back to a brand new Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links leak video. In today's leak video, I'm going to be talking about a bunch of Dark Signer Red Goodwin leaks that we actually got on the 23rd of October, but I never got around to talking about them, so I thought it would have been a good time as ever to talk about these brand new leaks, or not brand new leaks, but these leaks for Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links in a video for you guys. So without further ado, let's go talk about all these brand new Dark Signer Red Goodwin skills and cards that we're going to be getting in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links whenever the character gets unlockable in the game. So when it comes to today's leak video, I'm going to be talking about all the brand new skills for Dark Signer Red Goodwin, and all these skills indicate that most likely all these cards that are mentioned in these new skills for Dark Signer Red Goodwin are going to be some of Dark Signer Red Goodwin's unlockable like gate rewards or level up rewards, because all these cards are related to him and the cards he used in the anime, and since these skills need to use these certain cards in order to activate, I'm going to assume that these are going to be like his gate rewards and whatnot, so let's get into it. First skill we're going to talk about is Ant and Demon. Ant and Demon, if a Oracle the Sun is on your field, activate either of these two effects. This skill can be used once per turn and twice per duel. So you can either send one face-up Fire Ant Escator or whatever it's called from your field to the graveyard and summon a Supre, whatever that card is called, from your deck. You can send out one face-up Supre from your field to the graveyard and summon a Fire Ant from your deck. Now before I get into my first impressions on this skill, let me go read all three of these cards that I just mentioned in detail and give you guys my first impressions, because I'm going to guess these cards are going to be available from Dark Signer Red Goodwin as unlockable cards that we can use in any deck. First things first, let's talk about Oracle the Sun. Oracle the Sun is a light level 5 spellcaster effect monster. If your opponent controls a monster and you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand, so kind of like Cyber Dragon and some other 5-star monsters, which are pretty cool. When this card on the field is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can either add one Fire Ant or Supre from your deck to your hand. This card has 1,000 attack and 2,000 defense, so this card is very important, especially later in the video, because this card is used as synchro material for some of the synchro monsters that we're going to talk about later in today's video. But like I said, this card is pretty cool because you can special summon this when your opponent controls a monster and you control no monsters. So you can special summon this card easily, and if this card does get destroyed, you can use it to search for some of the other cards that I mentioned from the previous skill, or not previous skill, but the skill I was just talking about, which is Fire Ant and Supre. This card has a solid 2,000 defense, so you can special summon it in defense position, which is pretty nice. Other than that though, the main purpose of this card is just to be used as synchro material, and that's about it. Its effects are not overly amazing, but it's okay, it'll do the job. Next card I'll talk about real quick is Fire Ant Escator. This card is a Earth level 3 insect tuner monster. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can target one level 5 monster in your graveyard, special summon that target, but its effects are negated, also sent to the graveyard during the end phase of this turn. This card has 700 attack, 1,300 defense, so this is clearly catered to special summoning Oracle the Sun from the graveyard so that you can go for more synchro summons. Fire Ant is actually used to summon into one of the Sun synchro monsters that I'll talk about later in this video, and that's why he is a level 3 tuner monster, and you use the level 3 tuner monster Fire Ant with the Oracle the Sun to synchro summon into an 8-star synchro monster. That's kind of the point of this card. So there you go right there, and now let's go talk about Supre real quick. Supre is a level 1 Fiend tuner. When this card is sent from the field to the graveyard by a card effect, you can special summon one Oracle the Sun from your deck, and if you do, double its attack, but also return it to the hand during the end phase of this turn. I think Supre is a little bit better than Fire Ant because you can special summon Oracle the Sun from your deck. Sadly, the only way to trigger Supre's effect is if it gets destroyed by a card effect. Maybe you can play something like TTH to pop it in a different card your opponent controls, special summon Oracle the Sun, and then summon into one of your either Supre or Fire Ant to go for some synchro summon and shenanigans right there. But that's pretty cool, and those are all three of those cards, and keep in mind the rest of all these three cards I just talked about, because they're going to be mentioned a lot in this video. So coming back to the Ant and Demon skill, so this skill's main purpose is to easily help us summon into the Sun Dragon and Moon Dragon synchro monsters I'll talk about in a couple skills later in this video, which are both synchro monsters that if you guys watch the anime, you guys will know those were some of the synchro monsters that Red Goodwin summoned into during the fight when Yusei, Jack, and Crow was versing against Red Goodwin. So Ant and Demon is just catered to basically swap around Fire Ant and Supre so that you can get the materials you want to go for whatever synchro summon that you want to at the moment. So if you want to go into your Sun Dragon and you only have a Supre and Oracle the Sun on the field, you can play Ant and Demon, swap your Supre for a Fire Ant and go into your Sun Dragon synchro monster, or you can use it the other way around. If you want to summon into your Moon Dragon synchro monster, you can just send one of your Fire Ants from the field to the graveyard through the skill and summon Supre and go from there. So that's the point of the skill, can a little bit of swapping abilities and whatnot, which is pretty cool, and you can summon into both of your synchro monsters pretty easily. So it's kind of like a version of Light and Dark, but specifically for these monsters. So cool right there. Next skill we're going to talk about is Draw Sense Earthbound Immortal. Can be used each time your life points decrease by 1,000 during your draw phase. Instead of conducting your normal draw a random Earthbound Immortal from your deck. So with this skill, you can draw into any one of your Earthbound Immortals. Who would have thought? That's pretty crazy. And it's basically like a cheaper Destiny draw specifically to go into your Earthbound Immortals. So you can use it on the either two Earthbound Immortals that we already have in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, Callan's, and Carly's Earthbound Immortals, or you can use it on Rex Goodwin's Earthbound Immortal that we'll be getting once he becomes lockable in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, because if Duel Links is going to follow what they've been doing with the other Dark Signer characters, once you're able to unlock Dark Signer Rex Goodwin, and his starter deck should come with his Earthbound Immortals. That's pretty cool right here. A very basic skill, but it's skill that's pretty obvious that we should get in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links nonetheless, so very cool. So the next skill we talk about in today's video is the Man with Two Guns. This skill can only be activated one time if you have both Sun Dragon and Moon Dragon in your graveyard. When you tribute summon your Dark Signer Rex Goodwin's Earthbound Immortal, you can do it without tributes. And I'm not even going to try to pronounce any of those card names, because the names and just wordings of all these names are just something that I just don't want to bother with. And if you're watching this video to this point, you already know that I suck at reading card names. Let's get into talking about each of these individual cards, though. I just don't want to pronounce their names. Omega lol. So the first card we're going to talk about from this skill is Sun Dragon. This is a light level 8 Dragon Synchron. It takes the Fire Amp plus one or more non-tuner monsters. If this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, destroy the monster that destroyed this card. And if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equals to half the attack that monster had on the field. If this card on the field is destroyed during the standby phase of the next turn, you can target one Moon Dragon in your graveyard, special summon that target. This card is honestly really cool, and it is almost generic. You do need to use Fire Ant as the tuner monster though, but after that you can use any other monsters, and the effect is kind of worth it in my opinion, because if this card somehow does get destroyed with its beefy 3000 attack, you can destroy the monster that destroyed this card and inflict damage to your opponent equal to half the attack that the monster had on the field. That alone is just crazy good in my opinion, because 3000 attack is pretty good in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, and if this card does somehow get destroyed, your opponent will lose their monster unless that monster is unaffected by card effects. So Sun Dragon, if you can really get a turbo deck going for this card, I think it might be worth it to summon into this card. And then what's also pretty cool is that if you really get the Sun Dragon and Moon Dragon combo going, you can do a little bit of floatability action where this card is destroyed. You can special summon a Moon Dragon in your graveyard and summon it back onto the field, which is very, very cool right here. So Sun Dragon honestly gets a thumbs up for me. A really cool card, and I'm looking forward to trying out this card when it's available in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. So next card we're talking about right here is Moon Dragon. This is a dark level 6 Dragon Synchro monster. It takes 2 player plus one or more non-tuner monsters. This card is targeted for an attack. You get to gain life points equal to the half of the attacking monster's attack. If this card on the field is destroyed, you can target one Sun Dragon in your graveyard, special summon that target. This card has 2500 attack and 2000 defense, and definitely this card is not as good as Sun Dragon, but it still is helpful to summon into this card or somehow get into your graveyard, because so you can get the Moon Dragon and Sun Dragon combo going. Its effect is still not horrible though, because you gain life points equals to half of the attacking monster's attack. So if a 3000 attacking monster attacked into your Moon Dragon, you get 1500 life points back for it, which isn't too shabby whatsoever. And like I said, if you get the Sun Dragon and Moon Dragon combo going once this card gets sent to the graveyard, or if this gets destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can target a Sun Dragon in your graveyard and special summon it onto the field. So really cool right here. Moon Dragon is okay, and I think summoning it to Sun Dragon is way more worth it, but still cool card nonetheless. And then last but not least, let's go talk about Dark Signer Rex Goodwin's Earthbound Immortal. This is a level 10 attribute Dark Winged Beast with the effect. There can only be one Earthbound Immortal monster on the field. If there is no face-up field spell card on the field, destroy this card. Your opponent cannot target this card for attacks. This card can attack your opponent directly. If this card is normal summon, you can target 3 cards you control, except this card. Shuffle those targets into your deck, and discard as many random cards from your opponent's hand as possible, but not more than the number of returned cards. And if you do, this card gains 1000 attack for each card discarded by this effect. So it's an okay card. This is definitely not crazy good, that's for sure, and I feel like that winning with this card is going to be very oonga boonga. But if you do somehow like get 3 cards and return them back to your deck, you do get to get rid of your opponent's hand cards. So that's pretty cool right here. So you can basically get rid of your opponent's hand, which is nice. Other than that though, it is way too costly to summon into this, because you need to sacrifice 2 monsters or use one of your field spells on the field to summon into this card, like the offerings. What was that card called? I'm gonna pop it up on the screen right now because I legit forgot its name, but you can use that field spell card to pay a couple life or a couple thousand life points and then summon the monster as your normal summon for that turn. So there's like ways to like summon this card somewhat easily, but still it's going to take a lot of resources to summon into this card in the first place, and then you got to get rid of 3 of your other cards to trigger its effect. Makes this card just a very oonga boonga card, and I don't really see this card seeing that much play whatsoever in my opinion, but it is still cool nonetheless. And you can, if you win with this card, I'd be pretty happy if I won with this card, even though it is just probably not worth it in the end. That's all I can really say about this card though, but hey, we're getting another Earthbound Immortal, and that's pretty cool. Back to talking about the skill, the Man with 2 gods, and it's pretty self-explanatory. If you have both your Sun Dragon and Moon Dragon both in your graveyard, you can tribute summon your Rex Goodwin's Earthbound Immortal for free, which is also going to help because, like I said earlier in the video, it is just way too much effort to summon to this card in the first place. So if you can use a skill that can help you summon into this Earthbound Immortal easily, that's pretty nice right there. But honestly, I still don't think the skill is worth it, and if you're going to play like Rex Goodwin's Dark Signer deck, just use Ant and Demon. Honestly, Ant and Demon would probably make the most sense to play like the anime deck, but Mana 2 Gods, it's an okay skill, I guess. So the next skill we're going to be talking about right here is a very interesting skill, and this skill is called the Strongest Earthbound Immortal. You can activate this skill when you control one of Rex Goodwin's Earthbound Immortals. During your draw phase, instead of conducting your normal draw, reduce your opponent's life points to 1. Your turn immediately ends if you activate this skill. And as you guys can clearly tell, this is definitely a very memey skill, and I'd honestly love to win a duel with this skill, but at the end of the day, there's just so many drawbacks to this skill if you really think about it. So first things first, like I mentioned earlier in the video, summoning into Rex Goodwin's Earthbound Immortal is definitely going to be a bit of a hassle, and you also got to remember that if you don't trigger its effect, it's going to be stuck on the field with only 100 attack and defense. So due to that, if you want to trigger the Strongest Earthbound Immortal skill and pretty much win with this skill, you're going to have to run a lot of cards to protect your Earthbound Immortal in the first place, because he's just going to be sitting at a measly 100 attack and defense. Now, if you do keep your Earthbound Immortal on the field for a little bit and you go into your next turn, once you trigger the skill, you have to skip your draw phase. So you're basically waiting 2 turns almost to trigger the skill, only to get to your opponent's life points to 1. And honestly, if you're going against a meta deck, that meta deck is going to have a lot of solutions to, one, get rid of your Earthbound Immortal monster and be able to just win the duel without using a janky skill. But like I said, this skill is honestly really cool, and I'm really excited to see what people will do with this skill. Maybe you can exploit this skill pretty well. Maybe there's like a really cheesy way to summon into Rex Goodwin's Earthbound Immortal, and then you can like cheese and get your opponent's life points to 1. Also, you might want to look into possibly finding some trap cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links that you can inflict battle damage to your opponent on their turn, because what is nice about putting your opponent's life points to 1 is that almost anything can get rid of them. So if you can play a card like if you can play a card that can get rid of your opponent's attack or life points during their turn, you'll be able to snag a win pretty easily from there. So I'm curious to see what people will make from this skill, but at the same time, I feel like it is still too gimmicky at the end of the day. But I'm going to try it out at some point if I can unlock the skill. Hopefully it's a level up skill and not a farmable skill, but I'm gonna guess it's a farmable skill at the end of the day. But yeah, let's go move on to the next and final skill of today's video. So the last skill we're talking about today's video is Sun and Moon. 1 time per duel, you can use one of these 2 effects. You can either send 1 face-up Sun Dragon from your field to the graveyard and summon 1 Moon Dragon from your field to the graveyard, or you can do the other way around. You can send 1 face-up Moon Dragon from your field to the graveyard and summon 1 Sun Dragon from your field to the graveyard. So basically, this skill is the effects of Sun Dragon and Moon Dragon's last effect, except that you don't have to destroy them. You can kind of just swap them around here and there. So I don't really see too much of a use of this. Maybe there's a situation where you would want to like summon into your Moon Dragon, then quickly get back to your Sun Dragon, because Sun Dragon is a really good card. I guess I could see that, but other than that, it's kind of a whatever skill to me. I feel like just running a different skill would just be much better than Sun and Moon, but hey, it's still a cool skill nonetheless, so I'll take it. Well, that's going to be it for today's Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links leak video. If you guys watched to the end of this video and you haven't already, be sure to go smash the like button on the video down below and subscribe to the channel for more Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links content. Sorry for being so late when it came to these leaks, but I've just been busy with a lot of other content and been busy with work, so I had to get around to this at some point, and I'm glad that I did now instead of later, but you know what it is. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys learned something new, and I can't wait till we get an official date for Dark Signer Red Goodwin, because we still don't have an official release date for Dark Signer Red Goodwin. Maybe he'll come out in December. That's kind of my hope, because we're itching for a new character, especially in the 5Ds world. So there's that right there. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching today's Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links video. I'll go see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everybody.